I'm all Tampa Bay right now, by the way.
Tampa Bay.
Loser.
All right.
Figured I might as well do it.
Welcome,
For
ladies and
energy.
gentlemen, to Sunday pregame, NFL Sunday pregame. Whatever the title is in the pre-screen, I have no idea what I wrote for it. It's so irrelevant right now. So, welcome back. Week 4, a COVID-ravaged NFL shake-up schedule is all over the place right now. And you are tuning in to this show, and thank you very much for tuning in. I am Will Guthard, host of the Play Extra podcast, and we have two of the hockey whizzes on here. We got Dom. Dom, hello.
Hello.
And we have Jake. Jake, hello.
What's up?
As the lower third's covering your face.
Love that. That's great. That's
Great.
funny.
You know, no respect.
As Colton's going to be joining us in moments away. But let's kind of talk about the whole COVID situation right now. So the Titans and the Steelers games postponed. They moved around the Steelers schedule. So instead of playing the Ravens week 7, they're going to be playing them week 8. And then they moved the Titans-Steelers game to week 7. But this morning, 3 more Titans people, personnel and players got COVID. So next week's game against the Buffalo Bills is now in jeopardy since there's no kind of stopping this outbreak in Nashville, and it's only in Nashville. We have other players like Cam Newton, who's now out against Kansas City, which is now being played on Monday Night Football, 7:05 on CBS, nationally broadcasted. And the Chiefs' practice squad quarterback has also been diagnosed as well. Saints had their fullback, Burton, get a false positive test, so everything's good to go in Detroit. They're going to be playing the game as scheduled, no delay there. Kind of want to see your guys' thoughts with now the Titans having almost a quarter of their team now out with COVID. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on that.
Take it away, Colton.
What's up, Colton? Let me get your lower third up there. So yeah, what's your guys' thought with the Titans and how they're trying to deal with all this COVID nonsense going on down in Nashville?
Well, breaking news. Sorry to tell you. Breaking news. KC is playing Monday night now. It is confirmed 7:05 start Monday.
CBS. Jim Nance, Tony Romo on the call.
I don't know. It's kind of tough. I mean, obviously there's a serious problem in Tennessee right now with the Titans. And there's no positive tests other than literally just Cam Newton and the I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. Kansas City's
practice squad
quarterback. I mean, that's it. So the rest have come negative 2 days in a row for the rest of the teams. So it's just one player. So I don't think that's a big deal. But in Tennessee, obviously, there's a problem. And your dudes in Pittsburgh are not happy. I have seen some backlash from them.
Well, it's such a same time though, man. Everyone's expecting this. They definitely had these talks going into the season, like, boys, this ain't going to be a full 16 games. You're going to have your bye weeks tossed around. This isn't new to anyone. It's crazy to think that it's week 4. So this could have been a lot earlier. This could have been like week 2. We had this problem. Heck, even week 1. So, I guess it's a good thing that it's week 4. It's not good, but, it is what it is. You think I want my team to play 13 straight games? No. But it is what it is, man. And as Tomlin said, you got to keep going. Everyone's got issues to deal with. So hopefully Tennessee can stop having these positive tests because these guys might not play Sunday against the Bills now. So this could be a real problem. They had an easy situation with the Steelers. Hopefully they play Buffalo, man. They need to stop testing positive so they can open their facility. This is not good in Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's very
I know Eric Ebron tweeted or something, and he was like, this is not our problem. We shouldn't have to do it. We shouldn't have to have our bye week moved. This is that's them, not us. And I know he talked about how his child's birthday was during what his bye week was going to be. And he was like, I don't get to see my children that often. And now he's pissed because he doesn't have a bye week that week. And like I get it, and he's not wrong when he says it's not their problem, like it's not their fault, not their problem, but in a way, it like you said, it's expected to happen sometime.
The way I look at it is if Tennessee did something wrong, then there should be some consequences heading their way. It's not Pittsburgh's fault that they got it. Same time, though, if Tennessee did everything right, say they got it on their bus to go hit the plane on their ride back to their flight back to Tennessee, if they got it there, different story, man. There's nothing you can do there. They weren't doing anything stupid. But if word comes out that these guys were out and about doing God knows what after a crazy win against Minnesota, then we might have some problems here. That's what it comes down to. But I'm not, I'm going to shout a bunch of Steeler fans, and they're hammering Tennessee. They're like, this ain't our fault. Why we have to, lose our bye week 8 now. So I get, man. But like I said, I'm like, you don't know what happened here. We don't know what happened with these guys. But if word comes out that these guys are doing something stupid, then I know the NFL's threatened draft picks if coaches start wearing masks and other personnel on the sideline. So it's going to get really serious, and people need to take it seriously. Figure we had to wash up with the Marlins and the Cardinals. Then you never really heard anything again with MLB. And then NHL and the NBA are two different stories in terms of bubbles. But after those first two waves with baseball, we're like, oh boy, baseball's screwed, and settled down. I don't know if guys were going out like the Marlins, were in the streets, they were in an Atlanta strip club or something like that, nightclub, and they got it. So I don't know where these guys got it, but if they're out doing stuff they shouldn't have been, they should be held accountable. It's very simple.
Yeah, like the Marlins, they were out partying before the season started, and then they ended up screwing over the Phillies for like a week. But like now the Steelers get the Eagles on 2 weeks of rest. Like that's just another fun positive to our season.
That's funny.
Carson Wentz not even on the graphic for Thursday Night Football. It's Nick Mullins, the face of the Sunday night game. It's kind of going all downhill there for Philly, but I mean, the NFL is investigating the whole Titans organization right now, trying to figure out where this came from, who is like the originator of this whole COVID outbreak. So it's going to be interesting to see what can come about this. And, they may honestly have people cut from the team. They may have them, commissioners exempt list. You don't know what will happen there. So it's going to be a very tough situation to watch in the coming weeks with that. And as we said before, Steelers lose their bye week, but, it could have been a Dolphins Tampa Bay situation a couple years back where they had to have their bye week 1, and they had to just play 16 straight games after that hurricane hit Florida. So kind of got to count the blessings somewhere that they at least got to play a few games before having a bye week. So let's kind of shift into a different situation right now. So Dwayne Haskins, so per reports, they have told Haskins, the Washington football team has told him he needs to step it up, or otherwise he's not going to be starting much longer in Washington. They're going to be playing a very pissed off Ravens defense today that led up 37 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Will we see Alex Smith take the helm under center, or do you think they may bring someone else in to kind of protect Alex Smith, but then also kind of relieve Dwayne Haskins of his duties?
Did they say that they were going to Alex Smith first, or not Kyle Allen?
Well, Alex Smith is the essential backup, and then Kyle Allen's the third. I actually didn't know that Kyle Allen was on the team still. I thought they may have cut him.
Also, I saw today that like this morning that he has to play well today, or he's going to get benched.
Yeah,
which
a
is like,
top 3 defense in the AFC.
Yeah, like really, of all the teams that you're going to gauge him off of, this is the one.
It's kind of ridiculous there, but I'm all for Alex Smith to play again, but at the same time, I don't want him to break his leg again because I really want to see the man kind of live a somewhat normal life, even though he has a little limp going on for him. Yeah, that's all I got for that right now.
I mean, I would love to see Alex Smith's first game have him just absolutely go insane.
400 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Something nuts. Just like a Nick Foles Raiders game.
Just steps in, throws, 7 touchdowns, just absolutely demolishes whoever he's going to be playing next.
To be honest, Dwayne Haskins has only thrown 3 interceptions this season, and it was only last week. He threw 2 touchdowns last week as well. He threw 1 touchdown week 2, 1 touchdown week 1, not any amount of substantial yards. It's not the worst, but it's really just not gonna get you anywhere. Jake said something this past week in our podcast where he was like, the thing about starting Alex Smith is there's no like upside in the like development factor of things. Like you're not looking for Alex Smith to develop into a quarterback for years to come, whereas in Dwayne Haskins, I guess there's still potential there, or Kyle Allen, there's still potential there for development into something bigger than what they are now. Alex Smith, you get what you get, and if they put in Alex Smith, it is what it is. He plays this season, maybe he plays next season and retires. Like it's a temporary solution to a permanent problem. So I don't know.
I think you flipped that.
For me, I don't know what's going on there. I like Dwayne Haskins quite a bit coming out of Ohio State. He's turned into a very, very bad quarterback. I don't know what it is there. I loved him coming out of college. I'm a Michigan fan. He toasted Michigan, freaking threw like 5 or 6 touchdowns against us. And Michigan had a solid defense in the Big Ten, and he toasted them. I get he played with talent at the rear end at Ohio State. I get it. But I just expected a lot more. Everyone's like, he's not as mobile. Yeah, the guy can just throw the ball, though. The guy is very, very good throwing the football. And that's why I kind of like Josh Allen quite a bit coming out of Wyoming. He got the big arm. So I'm all in on Haskins, and he's disappointed me. I hit the nail on the head on Josh Allen, thankfully. Bought my stock on Josh Allen, and that paid off. But, yeah, it's just not working out with Haskins for some reason. Same time, though, Washington can take advantage of a really, really bad division right now. If you put in Alex Smith can get you to the playoffs. So, same time, like you're not going to make noise in the playoffs. That's the thing. I mean, same time, you don't know. You don't know how hot this team can get. This defense is pretty good, especially that front four. I don't know. I don't think anyone has the right answer what they should do here. But if they still want to believe in Haskins, you got to play him out. You got to ride the season out with him, see what you got. And if not, same time, though, just like what I've talked with Will about, this ain't Ron Rivera's guy. Rivera didn't draft Dwayne Haskins. So you don't know what Dwayne Haskins, what Ron Rivera's going to want. I think he's going to want Dwayne Haskins? Probably not. He's going to want his own guy. He brought in his own guy from Carolina, and Kyle Allen brought him with him. So you don't know. I don't know what's going on there with the football team. But, yeah, I don't think anyone has a right answer what the football team is going to do with Dwayne Haskins, Kyle Allen, or Alex Smith for that matter.
And it's also to like look back 2 years ago when Alex Smith was like the full-time starter of Washington before he broke his leg. They were in a playoff position. They had 6 wins, 4 losses. They were looking really good. And then up until, Alex Smith broke his leg. Then Colt McCoy broke his leg. And then Mark Sanchez took over. And then, I don't even know, Josh Johnson, I think, also took over that season. So it went from a playoff team to now a lost season. And then if, they didn't have to worry about that, Jay Gruden may have still been a coach there if they had made the playoffs. Because they wouldn't have to worry about drafting Haskins. They would have looked at drafting a quarterback after this year because Alex Smith is going to be 37, 38 years old after the season. So maybe we may see one of those top quarterbacks go into Landover Field and be playing for the football team or whatever they're going to be named coming up in the coming years. So let's talk about some injuries right now, non-COVID related. So let's look at some injuries. So already ruled out. Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, Marshawn Lattimore, Janoris Jenkins, Chris Godwin, Fournette, Tyrod, Budda Baker, Try Turner, Brian Bulaga, Chase Young, Steve Sims, Jamal Adams, Raheem Mostert, Jimmy G, Alshon Jeffrey, and Jamal Adams. Chris Carson, he's going to be playing after that very dirty play by the Cowboys last week, twisting his leg, basically turning it like a barrel essentially, like a tire.
Alligator roll.
A very dirty play by the Cowboys, which only resulted in a $6,000 fine. I think that's way too little. Should have been at least a suspension on that.
I think them dealing with having maybe the worst defense in the league is a pretty good punishment.
So Chris Carson's expected to play. Carlos Hyde's going to be out with a shoulder injury. Joe Mixon a chest injury that was reported Friday. He's going to be expected to play. Terry McLaurin has a thigh injury. He is expected to play. DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk are expected to play unless something happens in the pregame. So we'll be able to find this out in the next 15 minutes, whether Arizona has their top 2 playmakers over on offense. And that's it about the injuries. Let's kind of look into some betting stuff today. I mean, we did lose a game, we had a game moved, so, everyone's kind of parlay Sundays all messed up. But I think I may have the winner this week. I have the winner for this parlay, so, don't really follow me, but if you do have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I should also put that in there. I am not, a betting guru. I'm not, James Holzhauer, the Jeopardy genius, pro Vegas bettor. But here's what I have this week. I have the Miami Dolphins on the money line, Arizona Cardinals and Carolina Panthers under 52 points, Minnesota and Houston Texans over 53.5, Chicago Bears on the money line, and the Cincinnati Bengals money line. 4,414 odds. $10 bet. It has to eventually hit. So I don't know what you guys have or kind of any weird kind of odds. I know the Ravens are favored by 1,000 over the Washington team. And the Rams are also favored by about 700, 900. Very interesting to see.
Well, I have a bunch of parlays. I have a real problem. I just went out and just screw it. I had a bunch of free bets and just tossed a bunch out here. I got Chicago over the Colts, Seattle, Buffalo, Houston, and Arizona for a plus 1,175 odds. I also got another money line parlay. I got Cincinnati, Houston, Arizona again, and the Saints, which I definitely regret that one at this rate, for a plus 629 odds. And then I have another parlay that is now a 2-team parlay because of the Steelers game. I have Buffalo and the Texans, and I had the Steelers, which would have been nice, but here we are, and it's a 2-game parlay because DraftKings blows. I'm just like, can I just get my bet back so I can replace it? I would have just want to replace it with a third team in the parlay. No, not doing it. Oh, Lord.
Barstool Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook. Whole bunch of other sportsbooks. I don't know what you guys are looking at for us, some other parlays or even looking at betting stuff.
I like some of these, to be honest with you. I wouldn't put it past betting on Detroit, Carolina, Minnesota, Chicago. There's some that I like. I wouldn't really take a risk on some of these. I'm not betting on Washington. I'm not betting on Miami. The big ones, I don't know. I don't trust it enough to even risk it. But I like some of these smaller bets. Parlaying wouldn't be so bad this week, to be honest with you.
Yes, Jake.
My big thing is betting against the spread because I don't do the money lines or any crazy parlays because I don't have a problem. So I usually pick either straight up or against the spread, and I think I would take the Raiders. I think the Raiders will win that game outright versus the 3 points that Buffalo's getting for being the road team.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like Buffalo quite a bit, and I think the Raiders came down to earth a little bit last week. Same time, though, I don't think Buffalo has a game plan to lock up Darren Waller like New England did. New England's the only team that does that. Is you know what? That's your number one guy. We know that's your number one guy, and you're not going to him all day. Good luck with that. You're not getting the ball to him. That's what New England does best, and I don't think any other teams can. So, I do understand where you're coming from. The Raiders have looked very good in their other games other than New England. So I can't understand where you're kicking the tires on that game.
Well, mostly because a lot of the other games, they had Ruggs purely as a decoy, opening the field for Waller and Josh Jacobs. But the running game from the Rams really soured Buffalo's defense in my mind. And I think that's the same thing Raiders are going to try to do. Short passes to Waller and just pound them with Josh Jacobs.
I kind of agree with that a little bit. But I mean, I think the Raiders may actually pull this one out inside the Death Star in Las Vegas. As you know,
Yes.
we talked about this 2 weeks
Death
ago.
Star.
I did find it. Gruden calls it the Death Star, but they're like, don't call it the Death Star. That's a Star Wars reference. But he's like, I think it's cool. I'm gonna call it the Death Star. So ever since then, I think
It's the most Gruden comment.
I love that. That's fantastic.
that looks like one of those little like mobile vacuums that just kind of goes around the house as it goes, or even a
Roomba?
hockey puck. Yeah, a Aruba. Looks like one of those. Let's look into some fantasy stardom situms because there are a whole lot of games that are all messed up right now. So I want to see, what's some people that you may want to start this week, considering, King Henry, Big Ben, Juju, whole bunch of people are out. The entire Steelers running backs that are probably picked up in every single fantasy league are all out right now.
Honestly, for me, and I am starting him, Devontae Parker. Seattle has done terrible against the passing game. And
30-second defense.
Yeah, I am all about Devontae Parker. He's the number one guy. I think against a 32nd ranked defense, especially against the pass, I think they're going to go to him. I think he will get some nice points, yards, hopefully a touchdown or two.
I'm going to have to go with that. So, unfortunately, I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm not going to be starting him this week because I don't know what's going to happen in that game. So, I think it's better off to just kind of push everyone who's not named Patrick Mahomes kind of off the fantasy roster starting this week.
Well, if you have to pick up someone, put him in the flex, and I don't know how your running back depth is, put someone else in that running back, and if you have to, if Marquez Valdez-Scantling's available for Monday night, pick him up, and if you have to put him in as your flex, keep Clyde in there, because you'll find out today pretty much. If there's no positive tests today coming out of New England, you should be fine with Clyde. They're going to play tomorrow if they don't have any positive tests today. Figure last night's whole run of tests was negative. All the tests from earlier Saturday, other than Cam, clearly. The rest, they did a retest. All of them are negative. So, and I believe the same things with Kansas City. So, I'm playing Clyde. I'm playing Clyde, and I'm banking on him playing. If not, I'm sinking with my ship. But that is the thing you can do. Put him in your flex. I don't know what your running back depth is.
My running backs, I actually have Zeke and Kamara as my running backs. So I'd start Edwards-Helaire as like the RB2 flex, but I'm going to take him out, but I'm going to start Will Fuller because, hey, Will Fuller against the Minnesota defense, I think that's just easy money right there. At least 100 yards, couple receptions, maybe a touchdown or two. Because he did it against the Steelers last week, caught like 60 yards, 4 passes, a touchdown. So, and they're going against a way worse secondary. Zimmer doesn't even know what he's going to be doing up there, so easy cash right there. Will Fuller's definitely going to be a starter for this week coming up. Well, 90 minutes coming up.
Yeah, I'm all on whoever's playing on Green Bay's wide receivers, any of them. I don't know who's really filling the role from Lazard as the third guy, but I had Lazard on my roster the past 2 weeks with the unknowns for Adams. So I picked up Scantling for this week, hoping that he'll get a lot of those touches. And then maybe Darrell Henderson on the Rams. He's really got a lot of those touches, plus the Giants' defense sucks.
And also, I think Kenny Galladay is a must-start with how depleted the Saints secondary is. I know they brought up Ken Crawley, Eli Apple's starting for them, but Marshawn Lattimore's not there. They're also without another corner. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but
Isn't Eli Apple in Carolina?
Oh yeah, he's not there. He's not there.
That's his whole season.
So even less.
That's even less there.
See, I would love to start Stafford. Stafford's let me down way too much this season, starting with fantasy. I'm not doing it again. You would think this is a slam dunk, just like I thought Tannehill was a slam dunk last week. Not doing it, but I'm going to buy some of that Browns-Cowboys game. CeeDee Lamb could have a very big day in the slot. Browns, one of the worst teams in the slot this year. So be aware for CeeDee Lamb. And also be aware for that run game in Cleveland. This could be a big game for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So I can see this game being a decent amount of points. I didn't touch this game whatsoever, money line or spread, because I think this could be a crapshoot, and I don't know who's going to win. Because if the Browns get the lead, there's going to be a whole lot of Chubb and Hunt. So that's kind of their game plan this season, and that could be what happens in that game. And Dallas is going to have to come from behind, I think, possibly. And this could be a crapshoot there in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, I think almost that whole Cleveland offense wouldn't be terrible to start. I mean, theoretically, they should have a good game. It's Dallas's defense. Dallas has not been good defensively. And I think, this is one of those weeks you actually might get some production from Odell. So
yeah, it's a weird game because it could, if Dallas starts off with the ball and gets 6 early,
yeah,
then I think Cleveland doesn't have to rush. I'm like, oh crap, we got to throw the ball now. But God forbid that you go down and only get 3 and Dallas somehow answers with another touchdown, could turn into a big passing game. But if it could go the complete other way, it could be first drive for the Browns and a whole lot of Chubb and Hunt. Who knows? A little stat line in for that game though. Jarvis Landry, his 100th consecutive game for Jarvis Landry starting.
damn.
That's a stat I did not know. But I'm also going to put out another stat too. So Phillip Rivers is the only quarterback this year to not go 3 and out. All the 31, I don't know however many quarterbacks played this year, but there's a lot of other quarterbacks that have not gone 3 and out. And also completion percentage of over 75. Number 1, Russell Wilson. Number 2, Phillip Rivers.
Did you just throw that in there because I'm all against the Colts? Is that why
Yes.
you threw that in?
Yes.
Is that why you threw that in there?
That's funny.
On that one.
I'm going to buy myself a Bob Sanders jersey because that man's the GOAT. But who are you guys sitting this week that is not out or bye weeked? What's one person you're just not going to be starting this week?
It's a good question.
Well, I got Drew Brees. Very depleted offense. If Detroit was somewhat competent, you know what the game plan should be. I don't have to say it for everyone here, but it's pretty simple. Stop Alvin Kamara. You can just quadruple double Alvin Kamara and make him beat you somewhere else. That's the way to go. Unless Kamara goes bonkers again, catching run after catch and gets Drew Brees fantasy points that way with touchdowns. Do not start Drew Brees. I feel like that's a no-go with no Mike Thomas or Jared Cook. And we all bought into Emmanuel Sanders being a big piece to that offense. He really hasn't seemed to be a big piece. I
Yeah.
don't know if that changes once Mike Thomas gets back and healthy. I thought this week was a must for Mike Thomas to get back. He's not. We did say this on the show. Will, I did say if Mike Thomas doesn't play, I would change my pick to Detroit.
Yes.
Clearly, the graphics are already made. But, folks, count that as a Detroit win. I do believe Stafford comes back again, and Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones have a nice day. And, do not start Drew Brees.
I'll leave a note down there because I was actually expecting Michael Thomas to play because he was practicing this week.
So I might go against everything that Will just said and everything I believe. And I'm going to say bench Phillip Rivers this week. Chicago's second ranked against quarterbacks. And Phil hasn't been convincing enough to throw him in there over some other quarterbacks. So I don't know. I'm not starting Phillip Rivers this week. So
See, I don't really have the option to bench anybody because half of my team is either hurt or the now bye week. So I'm playing whoever I got. I guess the only player that I'm really benching is Wentz because I put Derek Carr in for the second quarterback in our expand rosters. So I got Wilson and Carr, and that's really the only option of benching I have.
You could pick up the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Mullins, because I think he's gonna have to be primed for a game today. Under the lights, they have Deebo Samuel returning actually, so
And
if you
George
do need a quarterback, I think Nick Mullins
he's
might be the guy.
he's gonna go off.
that's true.
He's gonna go
George Kittle as
400
well.
yards. I'm gonna put it right here, 400 yards, Nick Mullins. He's gonna
George
give you the
Kittle's
Nick. He's gonna give
have
you the
a
Nick
record
Foles game.
day.
All right.
And, quick little point there. That was totally embarrassing. I saw them putting the graphics of big games for this week. Like the NFL does that, show a picture of 4 guys and the matchups. Yeah, they put Nick Mullins over Carson Wentz for that Sunday night game.
Well, it was all the home quarterbacks. If you didn't notice that too.
Yeah, they were all the home
true,
quarterbacks.
true. But I thought that was a little disrespectful there.
Could have been Jimmy G, but it is what it is.
Excuse me. Porn star Jimmy, right? Porn star Jimmy. As the man Stephen A. once said, porn star Jimmy.
So, this segment we're going to have a question from the fans, but there's no questions here from anyone, just kind of a whole bunch of jibber jabber. So, we're going to go with a segment we did last week. I thought that was really cool. Buy, sell, and hold player stocks. Because I think that was a very fun segment last week. So, what's one team or player you're going to be buying into come this week?
All right.
Oof.
Oof is right.
Should I start?
Yeah,
off?
you gotta make me think about that one for a second. Yeah, go ahead.
I know, because I was all prepared for like questions coming in, at least like 3 questions I was hoping for, but there's not really any kind of questions out there. Also,
buying, I'm gonna buy since everyone was delayed. I'm gonna buy Josh Allen. I've bought the stock since draft day, but Josh Allen better start buying it. The guy's legit. The guy is legit. Got himself Stephon Diggs, got him a legit weapon. John Brown's banged up, so that's going to be interesting to see how that works out with no John Brown there. Could be a big increase in Cole Beasley and Dawson Knox, but heads up for Josh Allen. Start buying, boys. I bought it since day one, and I'm sitting here. It's like a nice stock to own. It's like, who would have thought this guy in the MVP conversation right now? Josh Allen, baby. Yeah,
I think John Brown is starting.
Really? I thought he was hurt for a few weeks.
He was, and I think they just activated him on Friday.
No, I'll check that out. You might be right. I might be wrong on that.
I mean, obviously, he's probably not going to get the production that he has, but I mean, I do believe he's healthy.
I mean, if there's one, I'm going to take a whole team on mine because I think the Rams are back.
Yeah.
From a couple of years ago when they were competing for a Super Bowl. I think the play calling is back to where the kind of like the specialness of the McVay designs. And I think that they're going to be right there in it with the Seahawks at the end in the NFC.
I honestly think all the 4 teams may make the playoffs this year, since it is an expanded to 3 wildcard spots. If anyone can make the playoffs, I think that all of them can make the playoffs. If, the NFC is incredibly loaded, you don't know what's going to happen between, the Bears and then, you got the Packers, Saints and Bucks, so you don't know what's going to happen there.
JD, you are correct. John Brown was removed from the injury report Friday.
That's what it says on my thing, it doesn't it? I forgot about that. Jeez.
You were correct.
That annoys me. Well, I mean, that just strengthens your point.
One person I'm going to buy.
Joe Mixon is also active. I know you mentioned he was probably a play, but Schefter just tweeted he is active for the Bengals.
And also Terry McLaurin, active as well. Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle for the Ravens, out. DJ Fluco and Orlando Brown man the tackle spots for the Ravens, which, the football team is without Chase Young, who's dealing with a groin injury. Now Schefter just tweeted out all these. Kareem Hunt active, Mixon active, Hopkins active, Kirk active, Carson active, Carlos Hyde inactive. But, we kind of already mentioned all of them a couple minutes ago.
Hey, man, my guy Will hit the nail on the head on those, man. Pow. Got it. Book it. Will Gethard. Pow.
Pow. One person we'll be buying into this week, OBJ. I feel like, the spotlight is on the Dallas game this week because, you're without the New England game that's pushed to Monday night now. You're without the Pittsburgh and Titans game, the nationally broadcasted game, because, they have to broadcast the Dallas Cowboys everywhere for every kind of primetime spot. OBJ against that secondary for Dallas, I think that's going to be a complete easy win for anyone that has him in fantasy or even kind of buying in. Because I know it's been almost a year since he's had a 100-yard receiving game. So this might be the day that he gets it. He could break 100, get a couple of catches, maybe a touchdown or 2. But looking forward to that game.
So this is kind of, I'm buying stock, and also this is fantasy stardom for sure. TJ Hawkinson. One, he's had a great year so far. He's been consistent every game. Uh, over 50 yards, four or more catches every game. He's had a touchdown this season, but they're playing New Orleans. And if we remember correctly, week 2, Darren Waller absolutely decimated New Orleans for an insane game. I think TJ Hawkinson is primed and ready to do the same. And I like that look. So
Yeah, I was very silly and honest with my dad. My dad had Jared Cook out, and I'm sitting there looking at his roster, and I'm like, yeah, you should pick up T.J. Hawkinson. I shouldn't have told you, but yeah, do it and play him. And he's playing me, so this could really bite me. But I told him, like, do it, do it. Especially with that depleted secondary now, man. There's a bunch of guys out in that secondary. It's gonna be a big game for that offense.
What's one team you're going to be selling off, player or team wise?
Well, for me, if I'm selling a player, it's got to be Carson Wentz right now. No offense to you, Jake. That's your team, but I got to sell Wentz, man. I have to see something out of him. To his credit, though, he's playing with a bunch of nobodies. You know, Greg Ward's your number one receiver. That should tell you enough what that offense looks like. It's going to be a lot of Miles Sanders. They got to give that guy kind of like what New Orleans is doing right now with no Thomas. Give him all the touches. Like, give him 10 catches. That's kind of what Philly has to do with that guy. But right now I'm selling Carson Wentz. I need to see something out of him. I'm not seeing it. I'm selling Carson Wentz right now.
I'm selling our coaching staff more than I'm selling Wentz. He hasn't been good, but like the coaching has been atrocious on both sides of the ball.
Honestly, the Washington football team, I know it's against the Ravens. It's already a no-brainer, but the fact that they have quarterback controversy and, Chase Young isn't playing, I mean, there is absolutely no chance for Washington this week. Zero at all. It's hard to imagine them doing even much of anything. But I mean, that's a no-brainer, but I had to say it.
Selling off, I'm going to have to go with the Chargers. I mean, they're playing Tampa Bay this week, but hey, Justin Herbert's not the issue, which, I should kind of change my answer there. I should sell Anthony Lynn off because I don't think Lynn wants Herbert to succeed for LA, which means Lynn's going to be on his way out more than likely. Herbert's, doing everything he can do for them, but he's kind of relying on Tyrod to be that guy, but Tyrod, you don't have absolutely no idea when he's going to be coming back to play. So Lynn's kind of just banking on it because, Tyrod got a win that shouldn't have been a win against Cincinnati week 1. Now he's kind of letting Herbert kind of fall off the rails a little bit down there. What is one stock you're going to be holding come this week?
For me, it's got to be Darrell Henderson. He had a great week last week against Buffalo. I'm going to hold on to him, not buying, because that backfield's still a big question mark, especially when they drafted Cam Akers out of Florida State. When he comes back healthy, when he is healthy, he can easily take that backfield over. So I'm holding on that whole backfield as a whole in LA, but I'm going to hold on Henderson.
I mean, as long as Akers is out, it'll be Henderson's ball. But yeah, I agree. Once Akers comes back, it's Henderson's going to go to the wayside. But for me, I'm going to take just the Vikings as a whole because they've been they're better than 0-3, but they haven't consistently looked good. I just think that depending on how they do against the Texans today will really gauge how I feel about them long term.
There's someone I feel that way about too, and I can't remember. Continue.
Okay, I'm going to be holding on to the Miami Dolphins. I'm not ready to sell off on them yet. I think this is a very favorable matchup for Devontae Parker and Ryan Fitzpatrick coming up against the Seahawks, which have absolutely zero secondary because they're all hurt. Front seven, they're banged up as well. So, if anything, I think the Dolphins are going to be that team to hold, especially with how The AFC East is kind of going right now. You don't know what's going to be happening moving forward, especially with the Patriots. Miami Dolphins, a definite hold and a team to watch for.
So I kind of feel this way about two matchups, two teams right now, and I'll say both. One, the Bengals and Joe Burrow. I think they're against Jacksonville this week. I think this is a game they should win. I want to see them win this game. Minshew's been pretty good. He's put up 3 touchdowns every game he's played so far, but I need to see defense from the Bengals enough to get that offense chances. And I would like to see the Bengals win this week. I think this is a game they can definitely win, and I think they can prove something this week. And
Well, another fun stat for you regarding Joe Burrow and those Bengals. The past number 1 overall picks, I think like the past, I said on our show, what was it, past 3 or 4, they've ended in a tie, and their first win came after their tie. So there you go. Bet the house on the Bengals, which is what that means if we're going by past history. But yeah, I hear you on the Joe Burrow stat there.
and then the other team is the Panthers. They're against the Cardinals. The Cardinals aren't a top team. They compete for sure, but they're not like a top 10 team. I want to see the Panthers put up at least a fight against the Cardinals. I want to see the Panthers compete with the Cardinals this week. I think this is a big game for the Panthers. They've been good. They've been kind of not so good, but I want to see a legit fight. I want to see a good game from the Panthers. And I think that game between Arizona and Carolina could be a really good game if the Panthers bring it. So I want to see them. Maybe I don't need a win out of them, but I want to see that they're competing with a team like the Cardinals, because I think that Panthers team really should be competing with a team like that.
And we're going to go with the bold prediction of the week. What's the upset that everyone has going into week number 4?
ATL, I'm riding them again. Give me Atlanta over Green Bay. Atlanta needs a win. That's a team I've been holding on to. I'm not selling the stock of the Falcons yet. Give me the ATL over Green Bay.
I've mentioned them a couple times this week. Miami. Listen, Jamal Adams being out kind of releases that whole nother kind of dimension for the Dolphins, and that's a team I'm going to have to, buy into. I mean, I've already put them on my parlay. Definitely the Dolphins are going to be an upset this week against the Seattle Seahawks.
Jake, I want to hear yours first.
Want to hear mine? Well, I kind of already said it. Like, I think the Raiders are going to win over Buffalo. I mean, it's not really a strong week for bold predictions because I think there's a lot of clear-cut games this week. But I think the Raiders are definitely in upset territory over the Buffalo Bills, as I said earlier. So I guess I'll go with that as my bold prediction.
I'm trying to decide between two, but I'm going to say the Cleveland Browns. Once again, the Cowboys have just a not good defense, and Cleveland with Hunt and Chubb, and Colton said it earlier, really, if Cleveland could get ahead early, I think they can hold a lead against this Cowboys team as long as they continue to do stuff on offense, which they really should be able to. They're not the Atlanta Falcons. They're not going to just leave at halftime. I think that Cleveland can actually close out this game, and I don't think it's that far-fetched whatsoever. So,
yeah, that's a good one. I forgot about that one. Because they could definitely play Dallas's game back to them. At least Dallas a couple years ago, where it's get out in front and just run the ball till the game's over.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's what Stefanski did in Minnesota. Get that early lead with those receivers and Diggs and Thielen, and then a whole lot of Cook to close out that game. And I think that's what Cleveland's going to do this whole season. That's why you're seeing Baker with the less turnovers. He's throwing less, and it's a whole lot of Chubb and Hunt. And you got those two backs you can keep fresh. See you later. Have fun trying to tackle those guys in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, because it was the Dallas team of a couple of years ago. If you got out on them early, they weren't coming back. That's changed a couple of weeks now this year, but the defense is it's missing It's totally different when they're missing Van Der Esch in that middle linebacker spot. So if they can just run the ball and play Dallas football back to them, just run the ball and control the clock, it'll be kind of a rough game for Dallas, I think.
My problem with Dallas, man, I love the offense. The offense is going to put up a boatload of points. Problem is, though, they're going to be like Atlanta. Like, Atlanta literally has to put up over 40 points to win a game. Like, we can say, oh, Atlanta blows it. It's Atlanta's defense. You cannot get mad at Matt Ryan for putting the points up he's putting. You think, should be a win. Putting up over 30 plus a game. Should be wins. But no, their defense is atrocious. It's like, here you go, right down the field. And, yeah, you don't want to recover an outside kick. This is where Atlanta's at. This is why I'm holding out Atlanta. But the problem is what I don't like about Dallas. Dallas is a good offense. Their defense is awful. That front four is really good with Griffin, Smith, Lawrence. That front's very good. Problem is that back end is horrible. And I think if Earl Thomas wasn't a nutcase, I think it'd be an easy home run, Earl Thomas, right there to Dallas. But they're not going to do it because Earl Thomas is a problem in the locker room. But, geez, that defense is atrocious in Dallas. And that's kind of where Dak has to put up 30-something points a game for them to win, I think.
See, that's also a reason why, like when you talk about Atlanta, I think Dan Quinn has now shown it's time to move on from him. He was the defensive specialist from Seattle and has done nothing but have bad defenses in Atlanta.
With talent, too. I mean, Atlanta has talent or has even had talent on that defense, dude. Like, top talent. And they just can't get it done.
Same time, these guys are getting hurt, though, man. Last year, like, 3 of their starters blown ACLs or, like, torn Achilles or something week 1 last year.
I think Neal 2 years in a row has been just
2 years.
Which sucks because those guys are so good.
I remember the opening Thursday game against the Eagles 2 years ago. Half their defense got hurt in that first game, and then the rest got hurt the week later. So, I mean, you got to kind of get a pass for that, but at a certain point, you got to start getting some stops.
I mean, Deion Jones is a phenomenal middle linebacker, and I really love him, and he was one of those guys that got injured last year. I mean, they found DeMonte Casey, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Because of guys going down, and he's done very well. He's had a couple of dirty, bad late hit plays and whatnot, but other than that, he's done very well with those guys down. So they found him because of it, really. But other than that, man, I mean, they really haven't. It sucked. Since Vic Beasley went off in that 1 year, their defensive line hasn't really done too well. I don't know.
Yeah, like Tack McKinley, if he's still on that team right now, he's hurt. Everyone's just atrocious. They haven't really had a good defense since like that 2012 run where they went to the NFC title game. And if you want to consider the Super Bowl run that they had where that defense was good.
Yeah, they had great defense for 3/4 of that game.
Almost 3/4.
Well, it's easy to have a good defense when you have a pass rush and play from a lead all the time.
Yeah.
You just got to figure how hard it is to score points in the NFL. Figure Atlanta's put up 26, 39, and 25 and lost all those games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You put that offense on another team with a decent defense, not even a good one, and that team's undefeated right now.
Matt Ryan's already over like 1,000 yards.
Chicago's offense is abysmal, and Chicago's 3-0. So, I mean, geez Louise. See what happens here, but Nick Foles is under center now, but it just proves Matt Ryan, just poor Matt Ryan, poor Julio, Ridley, geez Louise.
Yep.
All right, I think it might be time to wrap up the show. So what's one thing you guys learned or kind of got more knowledge in from this week? Doesn't even have to be on this show. It could have been something else you saw. Like, what's something that you just kind of learned?
I learned that you three are degenerate gamblers.
That's why I had to say 1-800-GAMBLER. Had to protect all of us for that.
Oh boy. See, I said last week I learned that I got to take notes during the show so that I can come up with this answer, and I learned that I have to seriously take notes on this because I still didn't do it and I still don't have an answer, so I got to come up with one real quick.
I'm gonna have to learn that Kyle Allen's still apparently on the football team. I did not know that. I just thought, oh, Alex Smith's just a backup, and they just got whoever they have on the practice squad, if there's anyone on there.
Yeah, I assumed that Kyle Allen would be the first guy in over Alex Smith just because of being with Ron Rivera and doesn't have the long injury, comeback.
I learned how depleted that Saints team is at the moment. I didn't realize they were nearly as depleted as when you were rattling off all the names that were depleted, like Lattimore and some of these other guys. Jared Cook. Like, I really, really like Detroit this week because of it now. I mean, I liked them kind of before, but learning how depleted the Saints team is at the moment and that they haven't been having the best season. They just lost to the Raiders 2 weeks ago. It's possible. It's so possible that Detroit wins.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Detroit wins. When we predicted in last week's show, Cardinals Detroit, I said I would not be surprised here if Detroit gets a win. Clearly, I picked the Cardinals because I just didn't have enough confidence, but Detroit did pull it out, made Kyle look silly with 3 picks. This could be a bad game for Drew Brees, is why I was on the sit. But I did learn that Jake is out on the Eagles coaching staff, and he's all in on the Raiders. So I did learn that this week.
Yeah, general management too.
Jake's done with the whole front office.
Jake is now going to be running the entire
You punted
front office.
at the end of overtime. I'm done.
See, yeah, but at the same time, I talked to Will about this on our last show, I believe. I
Yes.
did say it was a smart decision. The division's atrocious. Why kick a 64-yard or whatever it was, miss it, and give them the win? They gained half a game by tying. They gained half a game on Dallas. So it was the right decision on the tie. It was the right decision. The division's atrocious. So the tie is better than the loss, and that's 1,000% better than the loss. As stupid as it sounds, like, yeah, we're gonna play for the tie, so we're gonna see you later. But hey, man, if you want to win the division, which is the only way they're gonna get in the playoffs, that's the way to do it.
Because there was 9 seconds left, and Cincinnati wasn't moving the ball at all. So even if you missed it, you were still tying.
Yeah, I think the loss was unlikely. I get the risk though, but at the same time, it's still stupid because they were put in that position because of a lack of discipline in the first place. So
which has been the Doug Peterson era in a nutshell. Bad penalties, injuries. That's literally the Doug Peterson, Howie Roseman era.
I mean, I actually liked that kick and those chances on that kick, and then penalty, false start. So
you could have gave Randy Bullock a shot.
We got into field goal range like 3 different times.
Yeah.
You could have gave Randy Bullock a shot, but he would have, hurt his one hamstring, but he's going to be going to the press conference claiming it's the other one that he blew out. But he's completely fine, no injury report, no nothing about it. And that's where I'm going to wrap this show up. So, hey, if you want to listen to football, you can listen to the House over on Instagram, To the House JD. That's with Dom and Jake. They have their show over there with Josh and Jacob, who are not here this week. They are recovering, I guess, from Oklahoma's back-to-back just blowing leads. So my thoughts and prayers are to
rattled.
I like that. That's good.
My thoughts and prayers to them. College football, you can listen to their show, Talk Show U, over on Instagram, Talk Show U. Hockey, the offseason is going. Pat Maroon is now on his second victory tour with the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can listen to Dom and Jake's show, Between the Benches, on Instagram, Between the Benches JD. All-season draft coming up, free agency, a whole slew of stuff. Patrick Laine to the Flyers. I'm going to announce it right now. And you can also listen to Colton and I's show, the Play Action Podcast. You can find us over on Instagram, Play Action Podcast. Weekly content dropping every single place you go. So, hey, drop a follow everywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're listening